Hello everyone, welcome to the next installment of the Kościuszko Foundation online concert series, Quarantine Jazz. My name is Leszek Strzelecki and I'm your host. Our guest today is violinist Mateusz Smoczynski, a co-founding member of Adjunct String Quartet, based in Warsaw obviously, and this is the second part of the four-part program dedicated to Adjunct String Quartet and its musicians. On April 16, we had the first part where our guest was cellist Krzysztof Lęczowski. Welcome to the show, Mateusz. Nice to have you here.
Hello,
how are you?
I'm glad to be here. Thank you for invitation. It's so nice to talk with Leszek because we know each other since many years, so I am super excited to do that.
Thank you. Along with Krzysztof Lęczowski, Dawid Lubowicz and Michał Zaborski, you are, as I mentioned already, a founding member of Adjunct String Quartet, which was created in 2010, I believe. Tell us a few things about how did it come to being? What was the idea behind creating something that is not very popular in the realm of jazz?
Of course, idea of the string quartet playing jazz came from the most popular string quartet doing that thing. So it came from Turtle Island Quartet, American group. Somebody gave me a CD of Turtle Island Quartet, and I remember how was I super excited about music they are playing, because first time in my life I heard that somebody is playing a groove. They are really swinging on string instruments in the string ensemble. So that was a really amazing thing. And when I heard it first time, I had this idea, yes, we have to do something like this in Poland, because there is not such a band like Turtle Island Quartet in Poland. Actually, there are not many this kind of string quartets or string ensembles playing jazz music at all in the world, but yeah, that was crazy idea that came from hearing Turtle Island Quartet. So in the same time I was graduated my high school and I passed exam to Chopin University in Warsaw. And when I met Dawid Lubowicz sitting on the hall, I just went to him and we started to talk and I asked him, have you heard Turtle Island Quartet? And he of course said me, yes, I know this band. So we had this idea to do something in the like Turtle Island Quartet in Poland, but you know, it wasn't easy. I was studying for many years in the Chopin University, and we just had this crazy idea and nothing happened really. Finally, we met Michał Zaborski and we told him about this idea. You know, it's so hard to find a viola player who can improvise, who can really improvise on this instrument. And we are so lucky that Michał actually came to us. He came for my concert that I played with Krzeszimir Dębski at Chopin University and with whole big band. And Michał, we were talking with Michał and he asked, would you like to play with some crazy band of Grzech Piotrowski, Alchemic String. Grzech Piotrowski had this band, and I agreed, Dawid also agreed, so we played first with Grzech Piotrowski, and we told to Michał about this idea about having a string quartet that can improvise. So we were almost like formed group, almost, because we still didn't have any cellist. But fortunately, because Michał was he really wanted to do this string quartet, he was like pushing us. We all decide to find the cellist as soon as is possible. And there's also some funny story, because my brother about the cellist, because my brother, he has a studio and he has great studio in Poland. He records many of many jazz musicians, Polish jazz musicians. And someday I was subbing my brother, and that was session when where Krzysztof Lęczowski was playing, but he didn't play on the cello, he was playing on the guitar. So I was so surprised that I know this guy. We played together at the Symphony Orchestra on the same Chopin University, but I didn't suppose he's such a great jazz musician. So I just asked him, is he playing jazz on the cello? And he told me, no, I am not the jazz cellist. And he probably didn't want to do that. But at the same time, Michał Zaborski, he was in Zamość on chamber workshops, and Krzysztof was also there, so they knew each other. So the idea about Krzysztof Lęczowski came from two different sides, from me and from Michał Zaborski. So we asked Krzysztof to join the group. And here we are, 10 years or 12 years after that.
Yeah, that's been 10 years or 11 years ago. And 6 albums later, it goes without saying that your name recognition as a quartet in Poland is extremely high. This is not necessarily the case here in the United States, even though you toured the country twice before in the recent years. So how about introducing you to the general public here, listening and watching us? What would you recommend we play? I
was thinking about this, our concert that actually changed a lot in Adjunct String Quartet career, because for the first time we are playing in TV. It was like a competition for young great musicians, and we were like guests. We were like guest musicians to perform and show something different than usual. And we played, it was streamed on Polish television, but also it was streamed for different countries, because it was on the satellite channel. And many people saw it. And actually, I think it was a great performance of us. And I chose to play for you today my tune called Manhattan Island.
Mateusz, that, of course, Manhattan Island is one of my favorite tunes by Atom String Quartet. This is original composition, although it relates to New York.
Yes.
Any particular reason why?
I have the story because in 2012 I flew to New York for the first time in my life, and I was on the audition to Turtle Island Quartet. So that was a funny story because after I think 1 or 2 years of playing with Atom String Quartet, I got this offer to go for audition to Turtle Island Quartet, my hero band, the band that was the basic idea for Atom String Quartet. So I was super excited to go there and try and play this audition. And I remember being in New York. I was in a hotel in Manhattan. I was also practicing in Manhattan School of Music because my friend Janek Roszkowski, he was studying there, and I asked him for some practice room for me. So I went to Manhattan School of Music, and I was just jamming and playing, and I composed this composition, Manhattan Island. I wanted to make it sound a little bit like in the style of early Turtle Island Quartet, so that's why there is the island and of course Manhattan, because it's the place where I composed this tune.
Well, that was then, and first 4 albums that you released between 2012, 11 to 2015 were almost exclusively your original compositions. But then comes year 2017, and that album is titled Seifert. It's a tribute to the music of Zbigniew Seifert, following 2 years later with yet another album titled, this time, Penderecki. There's a, well, quite radical, if not a great switch from original compositions by members of the band to playing music by other. Explain what was the idea behind that.
We felt that it's maybe good time to record something not from our repertoire, to play something different. It was also time when I released the scores of music of Zbigniew Seifert. I did this book with music sheets, and we had like material ready to read. And so we thought maybe that's a good starting point to take this music, read it through, and decide which tunes we can perform in the string quartet, which not. And we also wanted to prepare to this CD a little bit differently than we did with our first 2 CDs. We wanted to make them we read that the music sheet like jazz musicians. We didn't write many arrangements for that. We just read the score and we decided you do that, like in the normal typical jazz band. So our idea was to make it like all jazz band would do that.
I think now we should listen to a couple of pieces from those 2 most recent albums, Seifert and Penderecki. What do you recommend to us? Maybe
let's start with Where Are You From by Zbigniew Seifert. We were talking about Seifert just before, so I think it can be a good tune to play. And of course, I must tell you one more thing, because we chose to record music of Zbigniew Seifert because of our because we think he is one of the best jazz violinists ever. So that was an easy choice.
Let's also listen to Krzysztof Penderecki, and that is supposed to be what?
You know, this is very untypical composition for Krzysztof Penderecki, because we all know Krzysztof Penderecki as a contemporary composer, like very crazy stuff, hard to listen but fun to play. But I thought maybe we should listen beautiful Aria by Krzysztof Penderecki from 3 pieces in old style. He wrote it to the some movies, and it's really amazing and beautiful piece. And yeah, this will be a recording from our live concert in, ladies and gentlemen, in Wuhan from 2019. Yes, it was just the same time when, so yeah, 2019, December.
Late, very late 2019. Mateusz, well, we've just listened to Aria from your album Penderecki. I'm going to challenge you a little bit. Up to this point, the music was rather unquestionably jazz and improvised music. Penderecki, is it still jazz? What you are doing, or what's your take on that?
You know, that's a good question, because what is jazz? I have no answer for that, and I remember when I was like 18, I had like party, and Zbyszek Namysłowski came for my 18th birthday, and my uncle asked him the same question, and you know what Zbyszek said? It's a stupid question. I don't want to answer this, because yeah, it doesn't matter. And this is true, it doesn't matter what it is. For me, I am just searching in music something that it's beautiful, or it's intriguing me, or I have some feelings when I listen it. I don't care, is it called jazz, or it's called classical music, contemporary music, or folk? Doesn't matter. I want to do all what I can do the best. So I want to play beautiful or intriguing music.
I'll take it at the face value. Thank you. So far, we've been talking about you as a member of Atom String Quartet, but that does not fill all of your activities. And just like everybody else in the quartet, you have your own projects. In the past, and I came across of you running a trio, a quartet, and even quintet. Most recently, however, I'll see that you enjoy playing in duo, either with pianist or some other instrument, like most recently with Stefan Braun on cello. Tell us about those two recent endeavors of yours.
Mm-hmm. You know, the same time when I heard for the first time Turtle Island Quartet, I started to do research on the cool string musicians. And just after we started Atom String Quartet, I found out Stefan Braun. And he was like big influence for me for all this time. I'm a huge fan of him. He's like amazing cellist, and that was my big dream to play with him, to do the project. And I remember I was touring with a German group Schulzing, and I played in Berlin. And few members, when I asked them about Stefan Braun, they told, yeah, he's our friend, so we'll invite him for our gig in Berlin. And he came. He was already there, and we started to talk. I told him that I'm a huge fan of his work, and he told me that we should do something together. That was the idea, that we should start collaboration. And it happened. We needed some time, because after this concert in Berlin, it was probably like 6-7 years when we finally met on the stage. And I got this nice offer from Warsaw, from venue in Warsaw, from Prom Kultury, to play. And I asked them, what do you want? And they told me, I don't know, you can choose. So I thought, okay, that's perfect idea to start something with Stefan. I wrote to him, and he came to Warsaw, and we played our first concert. And from this first concert, probably after 3 years, finally we recorded CD. It's released just a few months ago, so it's still brand new. Keep on turning with music of our idols from teenage. So we chose music by John Scofield, Dave Holland, Brecker Brothers, Don Grolnick, Stevie Wonder. So pretty funky and cool music. And we are performing that in duo, so totally something different.
And this very concert, recorded in late 2020 in Zielona Góra, was included in the special online streaming concert celebrated by Blues Alley, the Washington-based, very famous jazz club, on the occasion of International Jazz Day. So we won't play anything from that now, because the whole entire concert is also rebroadcast on our YouTube channel. So you dear listeners, are welcome to watch it. But you also did, shortly before that, a duo recording an album with German pianist Joachim Kun. Tell us about it.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. You know, with Joachim Kun, I met first time in 2008 probably. I was, or 8 or 9, I was performing for the first time after Zbigniew Seifert died, for the first time his violin concerto. And because Joachim Kun, he was playing with Zbigniew Seifert, and he was playing one time before with Seifert, because Seifert played it only once. He played in the rhythm section, so we chose and we asked him to play it with me and the Krakow Symphony Orchestra, and Janusz Stefański and Bronisław Suchanek. So it was a nice group, and it was so fun to play. And we were talking with Joachim that he liked very much Krakow. He told me it's better than New York. You have like jazz everywhere, like every corner in the old town in Krakow. He was so surprised that there is a jazz club. And after that, 10 years later, in 2018, I was asked to compose my violin concerto, and I wrote my violin concerto Adam Sapple, and we needed something to add to the repertoire. So we figured out that maybe it would be great to have again Joachim Kun and play Zbigniew Seifert concerto once again. So mine concerto, Zbigniew Seifert concerto, Zbigniew Seifert concerto with Joachim, Michał Miśkiewicz on drums, because Janusz Stefański he passed away a few months or years before that, and with Sławek Kurkiewicz on double bass, and with NOSPR, National Orchestra of Polish Radio, we played it together. And so Joachim came to Poland once again, and we had like a bunch of time in our dressing rooms. The dressing rooms with nice instruments, everything was perfect. So we had this time and we started to jam together. And he told me, yeah, finally you're the violinist I can hear, and we are on the same, kind of the same musical way. So we communicate pretty well. He was super excited, and he told me, maybe you can come to me and to Ibiza. He lives in Ibiza. Maybe you can come to me and we can just play a little bit more together, rehearse, or try something. So I told him, yeah, I would love to. And I remember a few months later when I saw this like 2 or 1 week period empty in my calendar, just after some holidays, I just bought a ticket and I flew to Ibiza. And I remember coming to his apartment, and his studio was already ready for recording. And the studio was ready, waiting for us. The sound engineer, his friend, was with his computer. Everything was ready. So yeah, I was just sight reading his music, and we were recording it. So all this music we recorded on Joachim Kun, with Joachim Kun on our duo album is like sight reading for me. But it was fun, it was so exciting, and this is kind of free music that you don't have to really practice too much, that you have to just feel the same way. So we felt together pretty nice. But I must tell you, we recorded many hours of music. It's like many hours of music I have in my computer. But we, with label, chose the most easy listening tunes. It's not easy listening CD, I must tell you, but we have like hardcore tunes. Okay.
Listen to some of those easy listening.
Yes, this
what
is
did you choose?
Kind of easy listening Paganini, by Joachim Kun.
Very easy piece. that was interesting. Speaking of Paganini and jazz improvisation, but we touched on that subject, so we're moving on. I was going to ask you a question about you as a composer, but you already answered that, that you composed a concerto for violin and orchestra. Since you've already said something about it, let's move on. What's in the future for Atom String Quartet? You have a new album coming up. Tell us about this. It's Karłowicz music, right?
Yeah, we just released an album with music of Mieczysław Karłowicz. And, you know, the story is also kind of crazy if you think about it, because it happened because of the COVID and lockdown. And because of COVID, we couldn't play concerts, and Szczecin Philharmonic, that we are like very in a good relation, they asked us to do something for them. And Krzysztof Lęczowski, he had pretty good idea that maybe we should record music of their patron, Mieczysław Karłowicz, because in Szczecin we have Philharmonic of name of Mieczysław Karłowicz. So we decided to do one tune. They liked it. They told us it's like amazing, we love them, and maybe we can do something more. So we did two more arrangements. So this lockdown recordings, we did everybody from their room, and we overdubbed our parts. So we recorded it as a two string quartets, but we did two parts because we could. It wasn't. We didn't play like once in the concert hall, but we were overdubbing, and everybody was at his own room. So they liked it, and they told us, so if you have already three arrangements of Mieczysław Karłowicz, maybe you should do whole CD. So we answered yes, we would love to. And a year ago we went to Szczecin Philharmonic, and we decided to record it with a wind quartet, like flute, clarinet, bassoon, and oboe. It was they were like in our we didn't overdub our parts because we were recording all together like a bigger chamber ensemble. And we did CD. It's already out, so you can check it out on Spotify or on any other streaming services.
So the selection from the latest album by Atom String Quartet, a tribute to the music of Mieczysław Karłowicz, will be a conclusion of our program. Thank you very much for joining us. It was a pleasure meeting you and talking to you. And thank you for listening to this program. See you next time. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It will be Przed nocą wieczną.